Hello everyone, I hope that you're doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Boom Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. As always, I'm so grateful that you're listening, subscribing and commenting. I really appreciate the support. And in this one, I wanted to speak to you about meditation and how when you first start meditating, when you are, first getting into the practice of meditation, you've never done it before and you're just beginning your practice, you'll notice a lot of unusual things and you might start worrying that you're not doing it right and you might stop. So I wrote a couple of posts about this on my blog, and it's interesting because a reader, I don't remember her name, but she messaged me recently and she said, I read your post about meditation and how it can sometimes make you cry. And it's funny because she just started meditating, and I don't know if she's doing it with a teacher or if she's just following an app. She didn't mention that, but she just started meditating because it's been a 5-year tumultuous period for her. And so she was feeling very, out there and off balance, and she wanted something to help with that, and so she thought maybe meditation would help. Of course, it always does. But she started meditating and she noticed that meditation would make her cry. Like, she would just sit down to meditate and then she would just bawl her face off, right? And obviously she thought there was something wrong with her, and she went online Googling, what's going on? I'm meditating, I'm not doing anything weird. And I started crying. And of course my post came up, which I'm glad for. At least it's showing up sometimes. And she read it and she realized that, okay, it's not a big deal. It actually is very common, it's normal, it happens to everyone. And she just kind of, let it come, let the emotions come, let them pass through her, let all of the crying periods just be, just cry. If it's coming up, cry. And then she felt much better, right? So I wanted to do a video about this because I thought that maybe there were some people who are listening to this video that haven't read the blog, obviously, that have started meditating and realized that it does bring up a lot of strong, intense emotions up to the surface. Now, the powerful thing about meditation is that is exactly its purpose. That is the reason we meditate. We meditate to bring those powerful emotions up to the surface, those intense emotions up to the surface. So I'll give you a brief spiel of what actually happens to people who don't meditate and what happens to us until we don't meditate, right? Until we begin the process of meditation. In general, as human beings, we are taught to suppress a lot of things, to numb a lot of things. It might be emotions, it might be feelings, it might be intentions, it might be dreams, it might be hopes, desires, fetishes, whatever it might be, right? Like, constantly we're told to suppress things, suppress parts of ourselves. And so we keep on suppressing all of this stuff. We keep on numbing ourselves by eating a lot of sugar, or by having a lot of mindless sex, or watching a lot of mindless TV. We numb ourselves, we suppress our emotions. We numb ourselves, we suppress our emotions. We do that on a constant, daily, moment by moment basis. That is our life. As human beings, we go through the world suppressing, numbing, suppressing, numbing, suppressing, numbing, until we start meditating, right? And as soon as we start meditating, that's what meditation does, is that it stops the whole process of suppression and numbing. It stops that right in its tracks. It just does not allow you to do that anymore. You can't meditate and suppress your emotions at the same time. It's very difficult. You could do it for a little bit of time, but the more you meditate, the more it becomes impossible to suppress those emotions, to numb yourself. And so what happens is that all of those emotions, all those feelings, all that stuff that you had suppressed for years, probably decades maybe, suddenly comes up to the surface, right? And so for me, I'll give you an example. When I first started meditating, I was going through a grieving process because I had just been dumped by a person that I thought was actually, I thought that we were in a very serious relationship. I thought that we liked each other, maybe even loved each other. I know I loved him, and I realized that he didn't love me, and actually he thought that we were in a friends with benefits relationship, and he was surprised to notice that I was so serious about him, and he was not, obviously. And how I found out was because he cheated on me. Well, cheated. It wasn't cheating according to him because we weren't even in a relationship. And we weren't exclusive according to him. Obviously, that was a miscommunication on my part. And so I was like, oh, right, okay, cool. I have no idea what's going on here. But because I didn't know exactly what was going on and because I was so confused, I went through a little bit of a grieving process. And so, when I meditated through that grieving process, I realized that I hadn't actually processed all of that grief. I had actually just kind of put it away. I locked it away in my heart somewhere or in my body somewhere. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to deal with it right now. It's too painful. I'll deal with it after. I'll deal with it like when, I don't know, when I'm older or when I have more time or, when I can do it without feeling so much pain. And so I just pushed it away. I was like, all right, no, not right now, not right now, not right now. And I did that over and over again until like a few months passed by. And, I was sitting down to meditate and it just whoosh, it just came out as if it was like a dam had broken through, and I just kind of felt all that emotion just pumping and surging through my body, through my mind, through my psyche. I was grief. I was made up of grief. Every cell in my body grieved in that moment, right? And of course, it was great because, of course, it felt terrible in the moment, but as soon as I was able to feel it and let it go, I was able to let go of that grief, right? So that's what we do on a constant basis. I mean, I'm not even saying now, like, if you meditate for a long period of time, yeah, it's very difficult to suppress things. But constantly on a daily basis, even if you meditate, you're probably suppressing things that will come up in your meditation, right? Because as soon as you meditate, the gates kind of are like thrown open. And there's just no more suppression and no more numbing. It's just not possible. Because that's the purpose of meditation, is to clarify everything, to unsmudge everything, to open up the doors to your depth of your heart, right? It makes everything transparent so that you can't hide behind any kind of barrier anymore. You can't hide behind words. You can't hide behind anything because everything is just out there in the open. You're like, here I am. Here is me as I am, and there's nothing that can protect me from the honesty and the clarity of meditation, right? And so, I mean, of course, that's a really good thing, and that's one of the reasons why I love to meditate, because it kind of doesn't allow me to hide anymore, and I don't want to hide anymore, because hiding means I'm not being truthful with myself or to the people around me, right? I'm not being authentic anymore. But also, it's also, there's a negative side to it, because if you don't want to feel those feelings, if you are trying to suppress them for a reason, which is like you don't want to feel them, or you want to avoid them, or you're not interested in them, you want to numb yourself, you want to play emotional roulette with yourself or whatever it might be, then it's a difficult thing because you can't do that when you meditate. And I feel like a lot of people stop meditating is because they don't want to see that. They want to hide, right? They want to hide themselves from the truth, which makes absolute sense. Who really wants to see the truth? Sometimes the truth is painful. A lot of times the truth is painful, right? And so people stop meditating because like, well, yeah, I don't want to see that, right? A lot of people tell me, oh, but like my mind never stops and that's why I can't meditate. I'm like, yeah, your mind doesn't stop because what it's trying to do is it's trying to numb yourself or suppress yourself from seeing the truth. And as your mind keeps on chattering and chattering and chattering away while you're meditating, because if it stops chattering, you'll see the truth and you will be overwhelmed by it perhaps. And then you don't want that to happen. Your brain doesn't want it to happen. Your ego doesn't want it to happen. And so it just keeps on chattering about nonsense. So you don't actually even meditate. You never go deep into it. You never are able to see the truth, right? And so of course there's a lot of nuances to meditation, which is why I love it so much, because every single day, and I've been doing it for years now, every single day I notice something new. Every single day something new comes up. Every single day I notice a nuance about myself that I had no idea even existed, right? And I want to keep on going because eventually I'm saying I might see all of it, and I'm like, no, actually I would never see all of it because we're always constantly changing. But we will get to a point at some point in time after years and years of meditation where it becomes a little bit more clearer. Yeah, you yourself become more clear to yourself. You're like, oh, right, I see why I do these things. You can start seeing patterns in your behavior. You start seeing patterns in the way you move through the world. And that in itself is such important, valuable knowledge that you can use in order to move through the world or navigate the world in a better fashion, right? So that's why I wanted to share this with you, is because if you are noticing that you are feeling a lot of intense emotions when you meditate, it's a good thing. Actually, it means that you're going deep into the meditation, because the chatter, the mindless chatter, has stopped, and you're actually able to go deep into the meditation process. If you have questions about this, obviously, comment below and I shall do a follow-up video. Maybe this is normal, common knowledge to you and you don't really care about it. Maybe it is new knowledge to you and you do care about it. Either way, message me, comment below, and I shall do a follow-up video. If you have any questions, let me know. And again, thank you so much for being on my channel. I shall see you the next time around. Bye for now.